Hello, you're welcome. On tonight's show, we are talking about some three men. Three of them from South Africa. They are ex-police officers who came into this country. We are being told they came to train bodyguards of the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party, Nana Akufo-Addo, and his running mate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. But the Bureau of National Investigations has other ideas. The BNI believes that these people's presence in Ghana is testament to the problems of security that this country has. They have therefore been picked up and they are languishing in BNI cells. Is this a real, genuine case of security concern, or this is simply an overzealous security agent that is taking advantage to do politics? You're watching PM Express. When we come back, we will discuss these vexed matters. My name is Malik Abbas Dabu. Stay tuned. Welcome back. With me to do this very important discussion is a Deputy Communications Director of the new Patriotic Party. I'm talking about Mr. Perry Okujutu. Perry, you are welcome to PM Express.
Thank you, Malik.
Very difficult day for you, hasn't it been?
Well, it's one of those things. If you work in the industry or in politics like I do, it's normal.
Yeah, but what happened? Your party brought these three guys.
Well, what it is that we have security detail, which is made up of a group of people who are trained regularly to protect the running mate as well as the flag bearer of our
Why
party.
does your running mate need protection? There's national security, there is police.
Well, in our jurisdiction, unlike in other jurisdictions where leaders of political parties, especially a huge opposition party like the NPP, would get security from the state. In America, for instance, as campaign has begun, all political party aspirants are given Secret Service protection. It is not the case for us in Ghana. It is the case that even when we go campaigning, though the police gives us some men to keep order, you can see that for fear of being tainted as political, these policemen stay a distance from us, but they do try to provide security.
Because I remember that in the last elections, all
Yes.
flag bearers were given police protection.
Well, here we are as we speak. We do not have state protection.
It's probably because you haven't requested.
For the flag bearer. It is not the case. It is not the norm in Ghana for flag bearers of political parties to have police protection. So what we do is that we pay for our own security. We recruit people who are trained, you know, who have minimal security experience and can be able to do crowd controls, make sure that the flag bearer and his running mates are safe. What we've had is that year in, year out, we have routine security training to sharpen their skills, to make sure that they are up to the task, especially in this election year when there's a growing, there's growing popularity for our two leaders, which is Nana Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Dr.
Popularity of your
You would see that
that
if you look at even our clips of where Nana goes, if you look at the people who throng the streets to have a glimpse or to wave at them, people who come out to want to interact with our people when they go out there, it should tell you that they are not necessarily protecting our candidates from the people. Our candidates are for the people, and it is because of the people that they go around the country. However, there needs to be some minimum security around the candidates. And it is just routine to sharpen the skills of these people.
And that includes training them how to handle guns, because that's what the BNI Statement
well,
says.
that report by the BNI maybe we will come to that. But that report by the BNI has a lot of things that we cannot, ascertain. The report itself, or the purported report, says that they were being trained in unarmed security drills. It talks about weapons training, but it does not say that they were found or arrested with weapons. As to whether they were found with weapons or not, we have not been told. But I can tell you on authority that they were not found using weapons to train. Besides that, Malik, it is not a crime for a citizen of this country to want to undergo weapons training. If me, Perry Okujeto, as a person, I feel that for the rising crime rate, I need to protect myself, I can go and look for an agency that does training. I will train on how to use a weapon. The thing to do is to make sure that I apply to the appropriate authority.
And have you done this?
I apply to the appropriate authority to acquire a gun if I want one.
Yes, because it's
but
not
I don't think there are any rules preventing anybody from training to use a weapon. What you need is the person training you must, one, be a certified security person, and two, must train you with a licensed weapon.
But Perry, we know that it is not unlawful to carry weapons in this country, because you can have weapons that are licensed.
Exactly.
And the Interior Minister must offer you a license to keep your weapon.
Exactly.
Why didn't you look inside Ghana? Why did you bring South Africa?
That is a sole prerogative of whoever is hiring who.
Yeah, but that is where the concern is.
There should not be any concern. We are a political party, a fully fledged political party. The size of our party should tell you, and our track record shows that we are a party of rules. We determine who should train our security at whatever time and at whatever time we please. We live in a democratic country, and we are allowed to choose. And that is why it is a democracy, and that is why you have choices. So out of the choice of choosing who should train our people, we have chosen particular people based on their experience, based on what they bring and what they offer.
And these are ex-police officers in South Africa. Does that not worry you?
What is wrong with engaging ex-police officers?
Because you are bringing foreigners into the country to come and train people.
Malik, I have in front of me printouts from a website called Unified Security Solutions. This is the company these three gentlemen work for. On that website, you can Google and find what they do. They are a security agency. They offer VIP protection services. They offer training. They offer an array of services regarding security. They are experts. As I speak to you, they work with the South African government. They provide VIP protection services for the presidential team. They work for cabinet ministers. They work for MPs. They work for state-based government officials. They also work across the world for multinational companies who seek, protection services. So this is a fully fledged, experienced group of security people. Even when you come back here to Ghana, Malik, a lot of our security companies, private security companies who render services to businesses, to homes, and to individuals.
Westec
and the rest of them. You will find in their apparatus former security operatives who are either on retirement or, have opted out or resigned from either the army or the police service. It does not make them people who are harmful. It is their line of work, and that is what their expertise is in. So bringing people from South Africa to come and train our security detail is not a crime and should not be determined by anybody but us.
But why was this being done at a secret location?
Can a hotel be a secret location?
Well, but they don't do the training in the hotel.
If anything at all, if we were doing this at a secret location, they will not be arrested in a hotel. For your information, that hotel belongs as well to the owner of the local security company that engaged these consultants from South Africa. And what they were doing was not anything untoward. They were not doing anything in secret. The people who were being trained are people you will find every day around our leaders.
But we are told that Captain Koda, who brought them, is an aide to your flag bearer.
Captain Koda is not the one responsible for bringing them. Captain Koda works within the security apparatus of the candidate. However, Captain Koda has not been called by the BNI. As I speak to you, before I left Nanado's residence, Captain Koda was there. He has not been called by the BNI. He has not been questioned by the BNI. Nobody can say that Captain Koda was the one who brought these people into the country. As to how they got into Ghana, I believe that, Malik, if you apply for a visa to go into a country on business, you provide supporting documents as to what business you are engaged in, why you are going to the country, before the visa is granted to you.
Yes.
We are told by the reportage that these people were granted a visa to come to Ghana, and they stated that they were coming on business. Here we are. The business the people are engaged in is providing security solutions. So what other business were we expecting them to come and do in Ghana? So how is it that now it is criminal for them to have stated during their visa procurement that they were coming to Ghana on business? Because their business is to provide security solutions.
What do you say to those who say you should have sought permission from the Interior Minister?
We
that
do not.
You are bringing these security people into the country and that their activities should not raise eyebrows. That's what a responsible party should have done.
Malik,
so that the security agencies in this country would have been aware that there are some foreigners in this country with security background who are training Ghanaians.
Malik, security people come into this country and go all the time. I believe that Westex Security and the rest of the security companies, there are about hundreds of security companies in Ghana today. Are we saying that they all write to the Interior Minister if in case I feel threatened or I feel that I am not safe and I need security protection in my home? Does the security company have to write to the Interior Ministry seeking permission to go and protect Perry Okudiato's house? No. So why should we write to the Interior Ministry seeking what permission before we can have routine, security training?
Perry, to the extent that training was going to take place, don't you think it was proper to have a conversation with at least the persons who are in charge of security?
I believe that the conversations that should be had had been had. And I also believe that the local security agency that put this together did due diligence in making sure that all the boxes were ticked in order for them to have a private, simple training exercise of teaching people, sharpening their skills on how to control crowd. And it ends there. There's nothing to it.
And you are pinning this on crowd control.
What else do they do as security people, Malik? We see our candidates, if you have clips of our candidates and where they go. Baumia was recently in the Volta region, was in Dambai, when he wanted to address teacher trainees. The NDC operatives in the constituency had to go and bag.
And this is a claim by the, of course, we know that.
Had to go and bag Gary to go and entice.
It must have been a pure coincidence.
Entice students not to go and talk to Baumia. However, the students wanting to listen to Baumia found their own ways of meeting Baumia, and he spoke to them. Day in, day out, as we go around. The candidate was in Brown Ahafo in the last couple of days, visiting citizens of this country, visiting markets, speaking to people. He needs that security, protection as he goes around the country. And what decisions we take as to what we do as a party, unless, of course, there's any law or anybody can tell us what laws we have breached, I believe that it is business as usual.
Yeah, but Perry, it's not just about law. We lived in this country when one day your party head office was raided And in that way, there was an allegation that some weapons were found. Of course, this allegation didn't specifically come from the security agencies. Be that as it may, there was an allegation that weapons were found in your party headquarters. Now, this has not been properly dealt with. If you woke up one morning and you hear that the same MPP whose party office was raided and weapons were found has now gone to bring South Africans who are training young people, and in fact there's an allegation that some of the people that are being trained are children.
That is laughable. Malik, the people who are being trained or were being trained are 15 gentlemen. There's no child. These are people you can identify. These are people who are part of the candidate's security detail. They are not children. We as a party do not engage in irresponsible stuff. Going back, you talked about our party offices being raided and a so-called claim of weapons being found there. Up to today, it's been about 3 to 4 months, if not more. The security agencies must come to tell the nation whether they really found weapons, if they found the weapons where they are, and what has become of those investigations. Malik, I see politics and propaganda in all of this.
How?
The government of the day is choking under pressure and is seeking not to determine holding on to power after 8 years by their performance, but in bastardizing and throwing mud at the opposition.
But this has nothing to do with the governing party or the government. This is
you have a security agency that is answerable to the government.
The BNI?
They claim to have prepared a report. We do not find reports of the BNI on the front pages of newspapers ordinarily. Out of the blue, you find a report that is claimed to have been prepared by the BNI on the front page of the Daily Graphic that happens to be a state-owned newspaper that is funded by taxes you and I pay, and this paper is being used to propagate lies and propaganda against the opposition. I'll give you why I say that. If you look at the company's website, one of the people arrested by surname Aziz,
yes,
is named on their company website as Chris Aziz. In the graphic report, his name, the Chris, is not there. All the names are Muslim names. What is it seeking to do? It is seeking to send a certain message that these people are radicals, when indeed they are not.
Maybe those are the names that they gave to the
so how come on their company's website he's called Chris, and then in the graphic report it is a different?
Maybe that's the name they gave to the BNI. The BNI.
I think the BNI has rather succeeded in pressing a button and causing fear and panic across this nation today. How? By telling the people of Ghana that they are mercenaries in Ghana, when indeed these people are not mercenaries. We were in this country when the president of Ghana went across the borders as far as Guantanamo Bay and brought 2 people who have been accused and incarcerated for 14 years. There have been reports about these same people as being terrorists and have been throwing bombs and have killed people at age 20. These people are above 30 years today as we speak.
These people were assessed by the American
authorities.
They
were assessed by the American authorities as low risk. But we were asked by the president of Ghana to show them compassion. Here we are. We find a scenario. We find a scenario where an African security company that offers solutions for security. We are a country that says that we are open to business and are looking for business. And when people from other jurisdictions or from other countries in Africa come into our country to do business, we arrest them, we line them up on the front page of a national newspaper, and we call them names without proof. Isn't that irresponsible?
Perry, hold it on. We have to take a break at this point. When we come back, Perry would tell us why he thinks that the BNI's conduct in this matter is irresponsible and whether his own party's conduct is not irresponsible. You are watching PM Express. Stay tuned. Come back. We are discussing the arrest of 3 South Africans brought into the country by the NPP to train what it calls bodyguards of the flag bearer Nana Akufo-Addo and his running mate Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. With me in the studio is Deputy Communications Director of the party, Peru Kujetu, discussing this matter. You are alleging that the government and the BNI are acting irresponsibly by arresting Africans, South Africans for that matter, who are simply in Ghana for their business. I am suggesting to you that it would have been irresponsible on the part of the BNI to have looked away when, in the midst of all that is happening in the sub-region, terrorist attacks in Burkina Faso, in Ivory Coast, in Mali, to find foreigners training Ghanaians and not take action.
Well, Malik, I believe that intelligence gathering is a process. And I believe that the BNI is an agency we spend taxpayers' money on to spend our resources judiciously. If you find a suspicious scenario, I believe that they are professionals and there are ways of looking into what particular people do, because these are not people who have entered this country without a document. Like I said before, they went through a certain process to get here. This is not the first time these people have been here. They've been here a couple of times. I am aware that some international corporations have been to Ghana to do business, and this same security company has been hired, flown all the way from South Africa into Ghana to provide protection for their officials. These people have come into Ghana on a number of occasions, and therefore, simple security checks will be able to tell who these people are. And like I said before, a layman like myself, I've been able to dig up who these people are just by a click of a button on the internet. If you look in their passports, you'll be able to tell who they are, what they do, what countries they've been to. There's a South African High Commission here.
Yes, which says they are also investigating this.
There's a South African High Commission here in Ghana. It is stated on their website that they provide services for the government of South Africa. So there must be a way the BNI can collaborate with the South African authorities. Are we not then heading for a diplomatic role? If indeed, after today's investigations, these people are found out to be what they say they are, security experts who are engaged in training
young men of the opposition party.
If you put it that way, you will be mistaken, Malik. If you say they were training young men of the opposition party, they were not training young men.
But that's what it is.
The people are security detail, and their ages vary. They are not children, but they are security detail whose ages vary. So you cannot classify them as young men, because when you classify them as young men, you are also going into that trajectory of a fray that somebody is doing something untoward. And nobody is doing anything untoward. What we seek to do is that we have a situation where we have a department or we have people who are recruited to provide security. They need training every now and then, and they are being trained. And as I sit here, I work in a department for the party. Day in, day out, we have training, and we bring people from all over the world to come and train us, to sharpen our skills at what we do. It is the norm for every organization in this country and around the world. So what is the fuss about this one?
You are seeing politics in this.
Of course.
Why is the politics?
The politics is that for a certain period now, the politics in our nation has not been about performance. It has not been about the democracy that we enjoy and seek to protect.
That is not fair, because the government has published a green book
The politics has been about the NPP. The politics has been about rates. The politics has been about painting a certain picture coming from the ruling government or the ruling party as if the NPP is not a party that you should vote for, or it's not a party that you should trust.
Well, but
Malik.
it's not the NDC's doing, it's not the government's doing that your party has internal problems, that those internal problems have resulted in the killing of at least 2 people. So these are not a creation of anyone. These are realities that exist.
Malik, we may have lost Adams Mahama, may he so rest in peace. And we may have lost Sadiq. We may have lost a lot more of people. It is rather unfortunate, but it does not determine the fact that it does not determine that the party is either in disarray or is disunited. The party actually is strong, picking up the pieces. We've had some issues, you know, in the last 18 months. We've resolved these issues. The party is moving on. Yes, we have. If you have issues in a party that relate to discipline, what you do is to make sure that you invoke what it takes to instill discipline within the party. And I believe that has been done. We have moved on. We have started campaigning. The flag bearer has been on the first round of campaigning, you know, sometime last year, wrapped up in December. We had a national delegates conference in Sunyani. We have moved on since. Different parts of the country, the running mate is going round with our messages. The candidate is going round with our messages. The party headquarters is working. What else? What else?
That's all well and good.
Yeah.
But when we wake up one morning and find that you have gone to bring South Africans and you are training them and you haven't declared it, there's every right for anyone to be concerned. And when you say there is politics on the part of who? The BNI is not run by the NDC or the government.
Well, then why are they publishing things that are political?
It is your calculation that this is
How
political.
many times do BNI reports get on the front page of the Daily Graphic?
Well, it happens. The BNI investigated.
And unfortunately, and quite unfortunately, the Daily Graphic is also lending itself to all this propaganda that is being churned out by the NDC. And then you have a paper that is supported through taxpayers' money. And then the paper is put at the beck and call of the ruling party. And then whatever garbage they want to publish, they put it on the front page
let me put this to you. This is what the BNI statement read in part. Strangely, however, when the police and the BNI operatives went to the hotel to ascertain their mission, they were refused entry by the trainees. However, the security operatives finally entered the place and conducted a search on them. Surprisingly, a comprehensive report on the operations of Superlock Technologies Limited, SCL, was found in the possession of Haziz. The documents contain a detailed profile of all the workers of STL, past and present, and went on to identify key staff members, giving an assessment of their strengths and vulnerabilities with a view to possibly compromising them so as to get them commit acts that will tend to favor a particular party in the 2016 elections. This is a BNI statement.
Do you realize that the statement you read itself seeks to make justifications and cast innuendos and then come to its own conclusion?
How?
How? First of all, let's take STL as an entity. As we speak, the STL is offering EC maintenance services for biometric equipment. They do not engage in any service whatsoever that have to do with our national elections or data. So, if we are a serious political party and we are abreast with the events towards the 2016 elections, would we be profiling people in a company who have absolutely nothing to do with the 2016 elections?
Maybe it's as a result of the profiling that you know that they have absolutely nothing.
How do we even believe that a report was found in a hotel in the first place? How do we believe that? I don't believe that.
Well, but this is a security agency. The BNI
So
is a
let them prove
security
it.
agency.
I believe that laws work in this country. And when you accuse people, they have the opportunity to also defend themselves. So if the BNI is claiming that they found a document which I found inconsequential to the matter that is at stake, because
how is
the
it
services that
inconsequential?
these people offer has nothing to do with
But
STL.
we know the problems the NPP has with STL. We know that the NPP has consistently insisted that the STL should leave.
Well,
in fact, during the elections in 2012, we know about your current youth organizer, Samir Wuku, leading a team of guys to attack a certain container where it was alleged that SEL staff were there and they were trying to manipulate the election results and all of that. So your party has serious problems
the
with
issue,
STL.
that is the 2012 election. STL played a particular role during the 2012 elections. They do not play the role that they played during the 2012 elections today. And that is why I'm saying that for anybody to want, you see, it is all kind of orchestrated. And you can see things being thrown in to try and justify the reasons why some people think that these people are doing something untoward. In the first place, the people are put on the front page of a newspaper and branded as mercenaries. In another vein, they are branded as people who are targeting particular people within a particular organization that has had something to do with elections. And like you just said, everybody thinks that NPP has had an issue with STL. So it will be some alibi if you accuse the people of saying that they are profiling workers of STL. But indeed, the person hasn't thought beyond the fact that as we speak today, STL is not offering the kind of service that they offered in 2012 and therefore are of no use to the NPP. So why would anybody be profiling workers of STL? What service are these workers offering to the EC or to the NPP or to the government of Ghana? And why would anybody want to concoct a report about employees of STL? We have told you, Malik, that these people, first of all, are not military men. They are police officers. Chris has had a stint in the presidential guard when President Mandela was president of South Africa, as well as when President Thabo Mbeki was president of South Africa. I have shown you this, which comes from their company website, that says that they are still engaged and provide protection, VIP protection services to the South African government. They have shown that they provide these services to multinationals and any individual that requires it. This is enough information for us to have not come to where we are today as in discussing this issue. And I don't think that anybody should worry about how and who should be training particular people within a political party.
Well, the BNI
as we speak, Malik, do we as a party determine who trains people in the NDC?
Well, maybe the NDC hasn't brought any foreigners, but we have to take a break at this point. When we come back, I will be asking Perry whether the NPP has burnt its fingers, or as Perry has been seeking to do, this is just one more example of a desperate security organization determined to undermine the NPP. You're watching PM Express. Stay tuned. You're welcome back. My guest is Perry Okujotu, Deputy Communications Director, NPP, and we are talking security. Perry, all along you have been trying to accuse the BNI of trying to play politics with this matter. This is a security matter. This is where they are. This is their business. We don't have any history of the BNI trying to play politics or the security agencies trying to play politics with the nation's security. That creates doubts over what you are claiming.
Well, is it the BNI the director who published the report. No.
Well, but they
There are
prepared it. We are told that
politicians.
this is
There are
attributed-
politicians who seek to benefit from this.
You don't have any evidence of
So, how did the report that is supposed or is purported to be a BNI report, which is top secret, how did it end up in on the front page of a newspaper?
Well, I'm a journalist. I get information from sources.
Exactly. So how did this report end up on the front page of a newspaper?
The journalist
Who seeks to
found it.
benefit from publishing a story like this? And
But the Ghanaian people deserve to know.
but the issue is that there's nothing untoward about training your security
That is
detail.
what you say.
Yes, but that is what the case is.
But if you
There
don't
is
want-
no crime in sharpening the skills of your staff.
Yes, there's not.
So if there's any crime that has been committed, let the security agencies charge the people who have been arrested. Let the law take its course, and let us
But of
resolve
course, they have
the
been
matter
arrested. I believe they will be
amicably.
charged. You don't think they will be
Well,
charged?
so we're waiting for them to be charged.
Where are they?
They are in BNI custody.
Have you had access to them?
Well, the lawyers have had access to them a while ago. So the lawyers are being briefed as to what the issues are, why they have been arrested, whether they've been charged, and then we'll take it from there. And I believe that other agencies who are interested, like the South African High Commission, whose citizens have been arrested and all kinds of twists being put on why they've been arrested, would also be interested in, dealing with our security agencies and making sure that the chips for, where they make.
In 2012, there was a similar arrest. And it was also attributed to the NPP. Because I remember in 2012, then National Security Coordinator Larry Gbevlulati granted an interview to the same Daily Graphic. In fact, he spoke to us, Joy News, and then Daily Graphic carved a story out of it. He spoke to us and told us about some 32 people who had been arrested, some of them Ghanaians, some of them foreigners, and they were undergoing some training in some village, some obscure village.
Did that have anything to do with the NPP as a political party?
Well, at that time, the suspicion was that it's the NPP. My question to you is, why is it that when these things happen, your party appears to be fingered? Because in your headquarters, party headquarters issues, we have heard John Kudalo, the IGP, talking about disbanding some security agencies, and the allegation is that your party's invisible forces have not been registered as a security company and therefore may be disbanded.
Well, there's nothing like security forces is a nickname people have given to. Invisible forces is a nickname people have given to a group of young people or a group of people who guard the security posts at the party's headquarters.
Yeah, but the law requires that every security, anybody who purports to provide any security must be registered and must be licensed.
Well, as to whether they are licensed or not to provide the service they provide is another matter. You see, it is intriguing, Malik, that when we are in election years, particular people want us to think in a particular way and point us in a particular direction. We were in this country when President Mills was in government. Larry Gbevlulati was National Security Coordinator. It took the BBC in London to break news that not 32 people, but 3,000 Ghanaians had crossed the border from Chireponi and had entered Togo. It took the BBC to break the news for the Ghanaian media to pick it up before the National Security Coordinator moved his machinery to head towards Chireponi.
Yes, because the National Security Coordinator possibly wasn't there.
Exactly. How is it how convenient that in an election year, some 32 people miraculously appear on some border or some part of Ghana, so-called, and are claimed to be having training in a particular whatever? How is it that over the years, in other election years, similar situations where people have been found, some people have been arrested, and it is claimed that some party is planning something? In 2000, it happened. In 2012, it happened. In 2016, it is happening. Why haven't we asked ourselves why these things continue to happen? In 2000, when the Italians were arrested at the airport, what came of it? The 32 people you talk about,
yes,
as people who were arrested, what came of it? So clearly, we are in an election year. This is a government that is focused on making sure they win this election off the book, off
Are
the
you not
books.
unnecessarily drawing the government into this peril?
Of course, because government controls all the apparatus that has been put in play to try and paint the NPP in a certain light and to get the people of Ghana to think in a certain direction.
Yes, but the security people are not government people.
Malik, you and I live in Ghana, and we know what happens in our country. This is not anything that we as a nation should worry about. It is a simple exercise.
How do we know?
But I'm telling you, and the track record, and Malik, we as journalists as well should also do our homework by looking into the background of the people who have been accused of being mercenaries. And it is worrying that we're able to accommodate people who have been in incarceration for 14 years, accused of bombing and killing people who have been on A-lists as terrorists. It is intriguing that we bring these people into this country and we are asked to show them compassion. And then when people come into our country to do business, we tag them as mercenaries.
Yeah, but if you have a party that is killing itself now, training young people, well, you are opposing to my saying young people. That's what the statement says. But if you have a party that is having problems internally to the extent that there's violence, and you now have this party training people with foreigners involved.
I hate to do this politics of equalization, but the fact is that in every organization there are issues. I can give you a list of issues that have happened within the NDC.
That's not
altercations on election day, people closing, what do you call it, DCE's offices, NHIS offices,
yes,
and the rest of
deaths.
That. A DCE who has the district security apparatus under him was shot dead somewhere in the Volta region.
That was a criminal action.
That was a criminal action. Have we investigated that? Have we arrested the culprits?
I thought some people were standing trial.
Does that make the NDC a disunited party? No. So why should, some misunderstanding or disagreement amongst party people that has occurred in the past be a threshold upon which a political party the size of the NDC
Perry, when that results in death, there's cause for worry.
But other things have happened that has resulted in death as well. Has that stopped the NDC from governing this country? No. Malik, I think that we've gotten to a point where we as a people should take our politics a bit more seriously, guard against the trajectory that we are setting this country, the path that we are setting this country on, where governments in power try to bulldoze, bully, throw money, and create confusion in opposition parties, tag people as mercenaries when they should not be tagging people as mercenaries, distorting people's images, and then wanting to win political favor out of it. If we allow these things to continue, and if we allow these things to happen, our democracy will not survive.
Agreed. But then, the opposition parties themselves must be seen to be responsible. It is the view of some that your party hasn't demonstrated that.
Well, I beg to differ on that. Our party has demonstrated that we are capable of handling our internal issues. Every party across the world has issues. We have surmounted a lot of difficulties within our party. We continue to grow. If you go around the country, the response from the Ghanaian people when the flag bearer goes on tour, when the running mate goes on tour, the interactions that we've had with the people of this country does not paint the picture.
Where do you see this end in 30 seconds? Where do you see this end? This South African case and the arrest by the BNI. Where do you see it end in 15 seconds?
It is going nowhere. If these people have broken any law, they have been arrested. They should be charged. If they are charged, their lawyers would go to court and defend them. As and when the case comes to, an end, we will know how it goes.
Thank you, Perry. It's been great having you on PM Express.
Thank you, Malik.
That's Perry, Communications Director, Deputy Communications Director of the NPP. He says this case is going nowhere. My name is Malik Abbas Dabu. You have been watching PM Express. God willing, tomorrow we will bring you another exciting discussion on this channel. Good night.